I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 138, Losing Strategies.
Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I apologize in advance. You're going to listen to me sounding sick through this episode. I actually feel much better than I did. I'm on the tail end of a pretty bad cold, something that knocked me out pretty good, but I'm feeling better. Just don't sound so great. So pardon me on this episode. But I'm glad you're here. And as always, we've got a lot of great things to cover. Before I dive into this week's episode, I want to just share a couple of things going on that you want to know about. For the month of March, I have a special going on where if you join my signature program, Get Your Life Back After Infidelity, there's some different bonuses that you get. But one of them is you get free admission to a live event that I'm holding later this year. It's going to be a all-day live in-person event where you get to come and get coached by me and get taught by me in person. You get to be with other people, some of the people that are in your group when you join, get to meet some of them, mingle with them, and joining in March, you get that ticket for free. You get to come for free. So if you have had your eye on this program for a while, now would be the time. Now's the time to jump on in and grab your spot so you can come attend that for free. You can go to my website. It's just andreagiles.com, Work With Me tab. You can also go to the show notes of this episode and you can follow the link there as well. Anyway, today we are going to talk about losing strategies. What are losing strategies? We all have situations where we just lack the skill. We just lack the skill to know how to handle certain situations, what to do. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about things that we do to gain control, things that we do to try to feel better that are not helping. They're sabotaging. Again, we all do these things. We all do. We all have, in many ways, pretty immature relational skills, like relational skills, meaning our ability to be in really healthy relationships with tools and skills and strategies that help us become closer to one another, that help create more closeness, more communication, more strength. Most of us just were not taught this, so we just don't know. We don't know. And so we do the best we can to try to fix things in the way that we think will be useful, to try to feel better about our situations. And often we are unwittingly making things worse. We're not meaning to, but we're often making things worse by some of these losing strategies. So we're going to be talking about what these things are. But before I dive into that, I want to tell you just some general things about relationships. So right now I am in another certification. I'm loving it so much. It's the Relational Life Institute. It is led by Terry Real, who has 40 years of experience. Terry has written some incredible books and worked with all the big names in the industry. He's made quite a reputation for himself. And I have been drawn to him for a long time. I really love his philosophy on things. And I decided to actually go through the process of getting certified in his method. And I'm loving it. It is rigorous. It's hard work. Just this month on Thursdays, I have a 7-hour class that I have to attend. It's a live in-person class where I have to do things that are uncomfortable, like coaching with peers and leading. And it's pretty deep. We had deep discussions talking about our own lives, our own situations, but I'm loving it, learning a ton. And I want to share with you this losing strategies is one of the things that we've been learning about because we see it in clients and see how our clients try to fix things in a way that seems good to them, or maybe it was taught to them this way of fixing things, and it doesn't work. It actually creates more division. So one of the things that has been hammered in this training, and you will hear me talk about it a lot because it's been really remarkable. It's been very helpful in taking some of the ideas in my head and the truths that are in my heart and putting language to things that I already knew, things that I already taught. And it's just deepening a lot of where I already was, and I'm learning a lot of new things too. Okay, so one of the things that is reinforced again and again and again is that the normal progression of relationships in normal, healthy relationships is harmony, disharmony, repair. Harmony, disharmony, repair. And so many of us have an aversion to disharmony. We live in a society where disharmony is very undervalued, where we look at disharmony with a negative connotation. We're very afraid of it. We don't want to be in disharmony. And we overvalue harmony. We overvalue the peaceful times as if they're more important, have more weight than the times that have disharmony. And in reality, it is through disharmony that in healthy relationships, we're able to move to repair, which is where real intimacy lives. Isn't that fascinating? Real intimacy does not live in harmony. Real intimacy lives in repair. Why? Because repair requires vulnerability, truth-telling, humility, really seeing ourselves, really owning ourselves, going, yeah, I can see how you would feel that way. I will not do that again, or I will try to improve this part of me that's hurting you, right? That's where we see the other person, where we understand somebody else's point of view, where we express ourselves, where we say, this thing you did really hurt, right? Where we're able to share these things and talk and come to a place of harmony where we are closer. And that is the progression. And we put so much emphasis on staying in harmony when really harmony is just staying at the surface. It's very surface level. And often in this harmony, often it's not even real harmony because there's contempt or resentment that's underneath it that is unexpressed. So even though it might look like harmony, when it's at the cost of not being able to move through disharmony and repair, there's often other things going on underneath it that are just not being shared. Okay, so let's talk about losing strategies here. All right. There are 5 main losing strategies that we fall into. The first one is being right. I can't remember even where I heard this, but it's something that I heard in a talk or something years ago where this man was sharing a story about how he was complaining to somebody about his wife and how he knew he was right and how she was wrong. And this person said to him, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be married?" And it kind of stopped him in his tracks going, oh, okay, maybe I need to think about this a little bit, right? So many of us get over defensive of what we believe is right. And we don't need to. We are all allowed to have things that we really firmly hold to, and I recommend it. I recommend knowing your mind on certain things and standing your ground. But what we do is we get into these tug of wars or, my way's a little bit better than your way, or I know and you're wrong. We get into these kind of tug of wars where no one actually wins, where there's a lot of disharmony created, and where people aren't feeling heard, right? Part of why being right is such a problem is because we think that we're going to solve our differences by blowing through them, by proving to somebody, and that if we can just prove through the scientific method that our way is right and their way is wrong and prove our case, right, that suddenly they'll be on board. And the problem is that there's not room for somebody else's point of view. Okay. Often it's the way that we go about it, where we're trying to convince somebody, where we're trying to defend our position or argue about who's right, who's wrong. And the problem is that we can't stay connected when we're in that space. Okay. We can't stay connected. In that space, we're often going into our lower brain of a kind of a protective mode, which let me just say this. All of these losing strategies are coming from a place that is trying to protect. It's coming from a fear-based, I need to protect myself stance. And so if we are sitting there trying to prove that we're right and that somebody else is wrong, it's because we don't feel safe. And so we're thinking that if we're right, then we get to be safe, that there's some safety in it. And in reality, the safety actually is in, yes, being able to stand our ground, but also being able to be in relationship with somebody else where you can hear their point of view and come together on that, even if you end up not agreeing. Like, I respect you, I respect me. This is where we land with this, and let's move on. How can we come back together? Okay. But standing our ground and needing to be right, needing to see somebody as us being right is a losing strategy. Okay. Again, it's not the same as, there's just things that we know sometimes, right? There's things that we just know. And this is not to talk you out of what you know. It's about learning how to know what you know while also holding space for other people's knowing, holding space for other people to come into their own and not need to be right in order to feel okay. When we really know something, we don't actually need to convince anybody. We actually don't need to. We can know it, and that can be enough. All right. Losing strategy number 2, controlling. Controlling involves putting pressure on a partner to do or see things in your way. There are a couple different kinds of ways that we control, okay? The ways that we control are covert and overt. You've probably heard this before, but I want to go through a little bit what they are, okay? Overt control is very blatant. There's no question what this person is trying to do. You will do this or else. This is the way it has to be or else. Covert is more indirect. It is manipulation. This is where you hear the term passive aggressive. Like, I'm not going to come say it right out, but I'm going to make these little jabs so that you feel bad. And then I'm going to pretend like it was this virtuous thing. I actually had something happen just this last week where somebody said something to me that was very passive aggressive. It was an extended family member. It was very covert and I could see right through it. It was a comment about me leaving my 2-year-old to travel. And, you know, it was just interesting to see. It's interesting to see, like, why, when people don't have the courage to just come out and say, this is what I think, but I'm going to make a backhanded comment here to try to tell you what I think without actually saying it. And this is a losing strategy because people can feel it, right? People can feel it. It just feels yucky, right? It feels yucky to have somebody try to control you, whether it be by directly saying words to you or by making these little jabs that feel manipulative, that feel like they're agenda driven. Like, what are you trying to get from me? So often in the wake of infidelity, somebody who maybe was not necessarily controlling before can develop some controlling traits. Let me explain why. As I mentioned, all of these losing strategies come from a place of fear of needing to self-protect, feeling like I need to protect myself. I need to look out for number one. They're coming from that lower brain consciousness of protection. And with infidelity, for most people, their sense of safety has been threatened. Their sense of belonging, their sense of being a part of something safe has been threatened. And so it makes perfect sense that you would do things to try to minimize your threat, right? To try to minimize the fear that you feel. And so for a lot of people, they might not have been this way before, but can become quite controlling and want to really dictate how the recovery process goes, exactly what the other person is doing, when they're doing it, want to monitor all the things, look at all the phones and the texts and the tracking the car and all the things to try to monitor. And why is this a losing strategy? In part because it puts so much pressure on you to have to pay so much attention to this other person, keeping you in this state of anxiety. Like there's so much dependence here on, I only feel okay if this person is not doing this thing, or if he is doing this thing. And there has to be a shift. For real healing, there has to be a shift back to, who do I want to be? How do I want to spend my life? How do I want to spend this precious energy that I have? And no one likes feeling controlled, right? No one likes to feel controlled. We tend to lash out or shut down to control. Like often our own losing strategies can push another person to respond with their own. And this is where we get into some gridlock, right? Of if one person is being controlling and then the other person in a way of defending because they feel unsafe gets really withdrawn, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, it's a no-win, right? We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. That is why it's a losing strategy. Very understandable, right? It's very understandable, but it's not going to get you what you want. So looking at where you're trying to control things, why, what is it that I'm trying to feel here? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And is it working? And are there other things that I could do that might work a little more effectively? Okay. On to the third. This is a fun one. Unbridled self-expression. This is a tricky one because we live in a time where self-expression is very encouraged, right? Where this is my truth. You hear that expression, this is my truth. The problem in this is that sometimes we use this as an excuse to say whatever the heck we want. Well, this is my truth, so I'm just going to own it and say the truth, and you can just deal with it. This often can come from a sense of entitlement. Like, you owe me to sit here and listen to this. Sometimes it comes with years of feeling pent up, of having worries and concerns that are built up. And so it can feel really good. Like, I'm just going to vomit all of this all over you. Here you go. And they may really back themselves up and justify it by saying, I just really needed to be authentic. This is my authentic self telling you how I really feel. Why is this a problem? Because there's no filter. Because there's no looking at, what am I actually trying to do here? Am I trying to feel better and like word vomit all of this stuff out? Or am I trying to preserve this relationship that I care about? If you don't care about the relationship, by all means, like, it's called losing strategies, right? If you're not worried about losing, if you already are feeling like the relationship is lost, it can feel really good to just say all the things and not have a second thought about it. But if you are trying to build something, if you're trying to preserve something, if you're trying to get to the bottom, if there's something worth preserving, this is something to look at. One filter, I can't remember where I originally heard this, but one filter to run things through is it kind? Is it true? Is it useful? Okay. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it useful? Sometimes it can be true and it's not useful. Sometimes it can be useful and not kind. Looking at that in that lens can be really helpful to just filter a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that you have to pad what you say to make sure it's kind enough. Sometimes the truth stings. Sometimes really telling the truth can be quite uncomfortable for the other person. So much of it comes from where in you it's coming from. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to create more intimacy by going, I need you to hear me. I need to say this thing. I need you to know the impact. I need you to hear this, right? That can feel unkind sometimes, but if it's coming from a place of kindness in you, of going, the only way forward is to tell the truth, then I want you to challenge that and go, okay, even if it's uncomfortable for this other person, does not mean that I'm being unkind. Okay? Unbridled self-expression is where we just say whatever we want and we're oversharing. Okay, we're oversharing. It's a very kind of entitled place that I'm entitled for you to sit here and listen to whatever thought comes into my head. Again, after infidelity, where this comes up is that from a place of hurt, from a place of pain, it can feel very justified to say everything. While I understand that, while I have compassion for it, I do think at the end of the day, we do have to live with ourselves. We have to live with the kind of person we are, and we have to live with our decisions. And if we're trying to build something, it makes sense that we wouldn't want to be abusing in the words that we use, that we don't want to not make any room for any kind of connection or coming together or any kind of repair because we are constantly verbally bashing. There's not a lot of room for connection. There's not a lot of room for the other person to go, now, wait a minute, that's not what that meant to me, right? There's not a lot of room there for that. So looking at how we are expressing ourselves, I am all for self-expression. It's just this unbridled, I can say whatever I want because it's my truth. Check in with yourself. Is it actually true? What are you trying to accomplish? Is it actually useful? Is it going to get you what you want? Okay. All right. Losing strategy number 4, retaliation. I can't tell you how many times I have had clients come and tell me that they just want their partner to feel how painful it has been for them and they want to hurt them back. I get it. Oh man. Like, you have inflicted so much pain on me and I want you to feel it just for a minute. I want you to feel the pain. I want you to know what it feels like, right? And we think that this is helpful because, for one thing, it can feel better, right? You hurt me. I'll show you what it feels like so you won't do it again. That's it sometimes, just so you won't do it again. Now, in this mode of like self-protection, that might make perfect sense. It might really, truly make logical sense. Like, if I hurt this person the way they've hurt me, then they won't do it again. And so the fear will be gone, right? And that can make sense to your lower brain. But when you're looking again at what you're actually trying to create, it's not going to work. Okay. Now, there's a couple kinds of retaliating that we do. One is very direct, defending from the victim position. It's, you hurt me, I'm the victim here, so I'm going to defend myself by saying this thing that's really hurtful, by hurting you back, right? That's one way of retaliating. Another is offending from the victim position, okay? Retaliation from that position can look like your spouse saying something to you that was hurtful to you, so you sling one right back. Oh, you think this? Well, what about this? You say I'm not good at this? Well, you're no good at this, right? That's retaliation. Another kind of retaliation is more covert. It's like, when we're out in public, you act embarrassed of me, and so I am going to not hold hands with you. You did this thing, so I'm going to just ignore you. Okay, it can be more passive aggressive. It is a form of retaliating, but it's not as direct as like saying something mean or like, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to throw this thing at you in retaliation, right? It's a little bit different. Again, after infidelity, oh, can this feel even good sometimes, right? Like, I want to give you a taste of what you've done and how bad it hurt. I want you to hurt as bad as I am hurting. And you know what? It can feel like this desperation for them to get it. Like, I just need you to understand how much this hurt, because if you get it, then maybe you won't do it again. And the problem, again, is that if we're looking at actually trying to connect with somebody, this is a connection killer. It can feel really good. We can really justify it. It makes sense. But is it actually a strategy that's going to get you what you want? It will not, because there's no connection There's no understanding. There's no coming closer. There's no intimacy. There's no repair. The relationship will not progress because there's nowhere for it to go from this place. Okay. And the last losing strategy, withdrawal. There's many ways that we do this. It can be physical withdrawal. I'm not going to let you touch me. I'm not going to touch you. It can be verbal withdrawal. Like just, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to stay away from you. It can be psychological. It can be, I'm just going to wall myself off to you. Someone can physically leave and withdraw, or they can go completely silent, or they might withdraw kindness. They might withdraw caring and just kind of go through the motions like, what? What do you mean? I'm home. I'm here, aren't I? What's your problem? I'm here. But being closed off. It can be over specific topics, different aspects of the relationship. It can be over intimacy. It can be over the whole relationship. Okay? All different kinds of ways that we can withdraw. There's no way through this. If we're trying to get through disharmony into repair, withdrawal will just shut it down. There's no way through it. We're just kind of collapsing. We're collapsing into whatever the problem is and not getting through it. Okay? When we're hurt, it can make sense that we'd want to pull away, that we'd want to withdraw. But if our end game is to come out the other side with some kind of repair, and you know what? This goes for people who are staying in relationships or not. Some of you are leaving, and it might seem like, well, why does it matter? It matters because many of you still have children together. You have things that you're going to still be interacting with each other with, and learning to communicate in a different way is going to get you so much further. It will be a gift to you that you give to yourself. Okay. Now, all of us do all of these things at different times. Some of you have one in here that's kind of your go-to. Some of you might go right to pulling away. Some of you might go right to retaliation or wanting to prove your point. I'm right, you're wrong, and there's nothing you can say about it, right? We all have like our go-to place. Some of us hop all over the place. Some of us can see ourselves in all of them. Something about each of these is that they can come to be by different motivations that we have. For example, withdrawal might be because we're really afraid of conflict, or because we don't trust, or because we feel really hopeless. Okay, that can be why we withdraw, because we feel really hopeless and afraid. Now, sometimes that same action of withdrawal can be coming from a place of aggression where we're trying to be punishing. It's not coming from a place of fear or of going, I don't know what else to do, so I'm just pulling away. It can come from a place of trying to punish. And that crosses over into retaliation, right? So all of us do some of these things. We all do. When we can understand and just buy in to this thing that I'm doing, it's not going to get me what I want. It's a losing strategy. When we can buy into that, what we can learn is what actually works. Do I want to keep doing this thing because it feels good in the moment, or do I actually want more connection? Do I actually want to really understand what's going on here? Now, one really important point is that often the person that we need to keep the connection with is ourselves. When we withdraw, it doesn't feel good for us. When we have to be so rigid in our stance on something where I'm right, you're wrong, it doesn't feel good. It might be temporarily like a little hit of, look at me, right? When seeing somebody else squirm, it can feel good maybe in a moment, but at the end of the day, it doesn't feel good, and it's not going to get you what you want. You will likely end up disconnecting from yourself because there's going to be a part of you that knows that that's not who you want to be. We can recognize that, connect with ourselves, and go, I understand that you're just trying to self-preserve. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. Ultimately, it's not accomplishing what we want. So let's try something different. The more you understand your losing strategies, the more you can speak to them and go, this is not working. It's time to try something else. Okay. All right. That is what I've got for you today. I invite you to look at your losing strategies. Where do you go to? And is it getting you what you want? And later on in other episodes, I'll talk about strategies that are more effective. Okay. Back to my program, Get Your Life Back After Infidelity. In my program, something that happens all the time is that people will come and ask for coaching, and they'll be in a situation and they'll play out for me. They'll tell me kind of what happens in these situations where they're butting heads or where they're feeling stuck or not making any progress. And I can spot where they're getting in their own way, what they are doing, what their losing strategy is, what they're doing that's keeping them from what they want. A question I ask a lot is it sustainable? What happens if that does not change? And they can see it. Oh, nothing good, right? This is the kind of work we do inside my coaching program. I then help them to find strategies that are going to get them what they want, that are going to be winners. And then they go practice those things and they have these huge wins where they're creating more safety for themselves, more connection, more safety in the relationship, the things that they actually want. It's hard to spot when you're in the moment, and that's what coaching is for. It's my job to help you see it. It's my job to go, I don't know that that's going to get you what you want. Let's try this instead, right? Come get yourself in this program. People are changing their own lives and changing their lives quickly. This is for people who are ready to stop being passive in their healing and in their fixing their relationship. If you're wanting to stay, instead of going, well, he did this, so he needs to fix it. This program is for you if you want to be more proactive in getting what you want, creating what you want, co-creating what you want. And some of you will use this program to learn that you actually don't want to be with the person that you're with. And some of you will be able to find peace in, yes, this is what I want. And now I've got the tools and the skills to back up my decision so I don't have to keep questioning myself. Come join us. Come join us. All right. Thank you so much. So good to be with you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.